world surrounded by so many objects. All these objects are made up of different kinds of materials. But there is one common thing with which all the objects in the universe are made up of. Wondering how is that possible? Yes, it is true. All the objects are made up of different types of materials, but all these materials are made up of matter. Matter in science means something which has mass and occupies space. So every object which has mass and occupies space is made up of matter. Matter is found in nature in three different states: solid, liquid and gas. Matter is consisting of very tiny particles called atoms. They are the basic units of matter. These atoms are arranged very closely in solids, loosely in liquids, and in gases there is a great deal of empty spaces between them. Let us take a piece of pure copper wire. An atom at one end of this copper wire is an exact replica of any atom from any part of this wire. Therefore, the substances which are made up of identical atoms are known as elements. Copper is an example of one such element. Oxygen is an essential substance for survival on Earth. How is this gas represented? O2 is the symbol to represent oxygen gas. Let us understand what this O2 means. O2 is a molecule of oxygen gas. This molecule of oxygen consists of two identical atoms of oxygen which are chemically bonded together. Therefore, oxygen is also an element. Same is the case with hydrogen. But when two or more different types of elements combine, they form a compound. Water is a compound because it is formed by a combination of hydrogen and oxygen. Similarly, the common salt, which is chemically known as sodium chloride, is formed by a combination of sodium and chlorine. These are a few examples of elements and compounds. Do you know how many elements are there on Earth? There are 118 known elements, out of which 93 are naturally occurring. Where can we find these elements? Yes, it is possible to get the information about all these elements in one place. The periodic table of elements, a tabular display of information about all the chemical elements. Out of these 118 elements, 92 are metals, 19 are non-metals, and the remaining are called metalloids. Metalloids are the elements which have the properties of both metals and non-metals. Guess today's topic? It is materials, metals and non-metals. In this chapter, we will learn how to differentiate between metals and non-metals based on their appearance and their behavior during a chemical reaction. Let us start with the physical properties of metals and non-metals. The first property is the physical state. Generally, all the metals are found in solid state, but there are a few metals like mercury, gallium, which are found in liquid state, whereas the non-metals are found in all three states. Sulfur is found in solid state, bromine is in liquid state, and all the gases like oxygen, hydrogen, nitrogen, they are all in gaseous states. The next property is luster, the shiny appearance of a substance. Metals like gold and silver are known for their luster. In fact, all metals are lustrous. For example, copper, chromium, nickel, etc. On the other hand, non-metals are non-lustrous. But there are exceptional cases too. The graphite present in your pencil lead is lustrous. A girl's best friend, that is The carbon in the form of a diamond is the most lustrous substance on Earth. The next property is hardness. Most of the metals are known for their hardness. Example, iron, tungsten, titanium, etc. But there are a few metals like sodium, potassium, lithium, which are so soft that they can be cut with a knife. Non-metals are not very hard. They are either soft or brittle. The exception here is carbon in the form of a diamond. Diamond is the hardest substance naturally found on Earth. Do you recognize this sound? Does it ring a bell? It should, because it is the sound of a ringing bell. Speaking of bells, where do we get to hear them the most? The ringing bells are immediately relatable to temples and churches. These bells are always made out of metals but never non-metals, because metals produce a ringing sound. This property is known as sonority. Therefore, we can conclude that metals are sonorous and non-metals are non-sonorous. That is all for today. See you in the next class with a few more physical properties of metals and non-metals. Take care. Thank you.